Show.
There's maybe no issue that we've led more strongly on in drawing a big fat line in the sand to say that the people of Florida believe that the purpose of our school system should be to educate our kids, not to indoctrinate our kids.
With history?
And to that end, we've done things like ban critical race theory in our K through 12 schools.
It was never taught.
We're not going to teach kids to hate our country or to hate each other. We're going to teach real history. We're going to teach them the truth. We're not going to let them impose their ideological agenda on our youth. We've also established a big initiative to promote American civics in our schools. We have a responsibility to make sure that the students that come out of our school system understand what it means to be an American. They need to understand that our rights come from God, not from the government.
I'm sorry? We're a nation of laws, not a Bible nation, okay? We don't have Sharia law. We don't have Christian nationalism. We don't have any establishment of religion in this here country. Listen, this is why people who are, somewhat open-minded don't like him. The people that were in this focus group, a guy from Orlando, he said, I disagree with DeSantis on a lot of things. It's purely just his stance on things. I'm troubled that he's anti-abortion, anti-transgender, but it's more than the social issues. He's petty. He's petty. He says he's all about keeping government out of business unless the business disagrees with him, and then it becomes personal. DeSantis is too much like Trump. I don't trust him. Nick from Miami Shore says, if Chris can win in November here in Florida, then that puts DeSantis in a really bad spot in terms of trying to run for president in 2024, which is what Jahari from Michigan called in to say the other day. Remember, Jahari said, listen, if DeSantis can't win a second term as governor of Florida, I doubt he's viable as presidential material. So this is the goal for me in this here state, is to make sure that this man is defeated in November and that somebody else becomes the governor of Florida, because he is petty, he is spiteful, he is a liar, and he's highly educated. I mean, this guy, I think he went to both Harvard and Yale, and he uses all of his, intellect to spread lies and hatred and resentment and play to grievances, and that is a sad waste of a law degree. Really sad waste. Terrible. So what does he do? He goes out and he forms this election police, because that's what you want when you're voting. Police, right? What could go wrong there? And so these people that he announced in this, this was such a publicity stunt. It was so, you're a tough guy with your little head and your big fat body. Standing there with all these police officers who went and arrested people who were voting in 2020. 2020, this is 2 years after they voted in 2020. And by the way, they were given Florida ID. They were given Florida voter ID. They were allowed to vote. They went and registered to vote ahead of the 2020 election. And they were given a voter ID. One of the people who was arrested for voting in 2020, is Ramona Oliver. She registered to vote in 2020 at the Hillsborough Tax Collector's Office. She was asked if she had a felony conviction, and she said yes. She said yes. And the women helping her with her form submitted it, and she was issued a voter ID card. 2 years later, his election police show up and they leave their business card. Swear to God. They left their business card in her door. Okay, nobody ever told her she didn't qualify under Amendment 4, which we passed in this state in 2018 with 65% of the vote. She wasn't told that she wasn't eligible, that her voting rights had not been restored. She said she was very excited after all the time that she had served. She wanted to get out and try to do the right thing, give back to the community. So she showed up to vote with her brand spanking new voter ID card. Now Ron DeSantis is saying, well, it was against the law, and now you're going to pay the price for it. And they're literally threatening her with 5 more years in prison. 5 more years in prison. but they gave her a voter ID card.